Hey guys, how's it going? It's your buddy Jake Dominguez back with another movie review. I'm very excited to do this review of The Mummy, the brand new Mummy film today. And today we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to introduce you to one of my friends, and I'm going to have him talk right now. How's it going, buddy?
I'm not still in the mood. I'm just kidding. Yeah, 0230.
That's right, ShadowDuelist0230. And tell us, what is your YouTube channel called again, buddy?
It's ShadowDuelist0230.
ShadowDuelist0320, right?
0230.
Alright, so you can find him. I'll have a link to his channel down in the description below. But he's a good buddy of mine. I hope you can hear his voice right here. And today we are going to review The Mummy. Now, we have both seen this feature film, haven't we, buddy?
Yep, and just to begin with my thoughts on it, but you want to go ahead and go into that one.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and start. So I was really excited to see this film. This film is the beginning of a brand new franchise called the Dark Universe franchise. Universal and the like this is a reboot of their classic Universal Monster series. And basically this film is kind of the start for all of that. Obviously they're going with The Mummy first. It's a reboot, not only of the classic 30s film, but also of the, Brendan Fraser movies. And I was pretty excited to see this. It's directed by Alex Kurtzman, who's a talented filmmaker. And obviously it stars Tom Cruise, Russell Crowe. I was really excited to see this movie, and to be honest, overall I was sort of just meh, kind of on the whole thing. What do you think?
Alright, so to begin with, when you mentioned about the Dark Universe one, I actually never heard of that, and before that, when I saw the whole movie trailer thing, I just okay, that looks like really cool, looks like so worth it, and then
Yeah.
about the movies going around, I'm just okay, and then the movie, I was so let me get this straight. I just spent this amount of money watching a movie that I thought was going to be awesome, and then that just turned out to be I am just confused the whole way, because it's not giving any spoilers, but the only thing I can say about this movie is it just seemed like the writers just jump everywhere. It's it doesn't correct right, and it's they only have this one character focus on this one, and you only know a little more about her, and the other characters you know a little bit, but just mostly on Princess Ahmed, which some of you should know, she's the main villain for this the movie.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And you just said my biggest problem with the movie is that it's the screenplay itself. You mentioned how it seemed like the writers were going all over the place and stuff, and I completely agreed. A lot of the plot of this movie is just so all over the place. It's really hard to follow, it's kind of tonally inconsistent, and yeah, it's just sort of there are so many different things going on, and you could tell. And you're right, I didn't really care about any of the characters, really, and that was really disappointing. That was definitely my biggest problem with the movie overall, and that was pretty disappointing.
And the other problem with the movie, which could be a little bit of a spoiler, but the only thing I can say about it, it's they have one character turn into a zombie, and then later on he comes back as a ghost who he is, talking with Tom Cruise all the time. And I'm just how is this person able to talk with him, and why that one person? Is that the movie didn't explain any of that.
Yeah, it doesn't really go into that. That was really confusing to me. That actor, his name is Jake Johnson, I believe, and in general, his character didn't really work for me. He's kind of the comic relief, and I honestly didn't find him very funny at all. And yeah, they didn't really explain that at all. There's so many things like that are cool, but the movie doesn't explain it. And unfortunately, some of the things are kind of derivative, and it's just, yeah, it's kind of confusing, and it just isn't that engaging as a story. Is there anything you did like about the movie? Any positives at all?
What I liked about the movie is that I like that there are points in the movie that can make you feel okay, there's going to be a jump scare coming up, and I like that I like that we got to learn a little bit more of the characters, and I also like that we got to learn more of Princess Ahmed, why she's the way she does, why she's doing these stuff, and
I agree. Yeah, I liked all that as well. My favorite thing about this movie I would say another thing is Tom Cruise's character and Russell Crowe's character. I won't say who Russell Crowe plays, it's kind of a spoiler, but I was pretty cool. Like, all the scenes with them were pretty interesting. I found them, like, I wanted to know more about that. Obviously, they're setting up the whole Dark Universe thing again. It's just, this Universal Monster reboot, which I think is interesting, which I think is cool. But I thought they both did a good job in the movie. I thought Tom Cruise was pretty good. What do you think? How do you think of the acting in general in the film?
The other actors, they did pretty well. However, the kind of problem with Tom Cruise that in like his other films, like the Mission Impossible, I think if I remember right, this was in. But anyways, he just acts like he's all tough. It's like, and this movie, he's like, oh yeah, I'm a most powerful character now. Now you know what to mess with me and stuff. That's what basically he was mostly about near the end stuff.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And that's just Tom Cruise for you. He's kind of just playing his typical everyday character in this film, which is fine. I mean, he's good at it, but overall, he really didn't have a lot to do in terms of, again, I didn't even really care too much about the characters themselves. What do you think of the action sequences in the film? Because there's a lot of action in it.
So the action scenes there, they actually were pretty cool, but however, the one action scene that I mostly really liked was the final fight, which I'm not going to get into spoilers of who the two characters fight, but that's the one I really liked. At the beginning, it was kind of okay. It was more of like a war kind of game thing, but like I said, near the end of the film was the fight there was what I really liked.
That's interesting you said that, because that was honestly my favorite part of the movie, to be honest. I liked the ending a lot, because they did something I didn't even really see coming again after that fight and all that. And for me, that was when I was the most emotionally engaged in the film. Like, that's when I cared the most about the characters, besides the fact that the fight was just cool. And, yeah, so I totally agree with you there. I thought the other action sequences were fine, but overall, meh, I don't really know.
I want to quickly mention that you do see flashbacks, you see, like, Tom Cruise's character with Prince Ahmed at times, like, see them all together, and you see, like, there's one scene in there, it gets a little bit more confusing, where you see this, like, professor guy with some girl, and you're just like, how did they get into this vision? I didn't really get how that happened, though.
All the vision stuff in general, I didn't really understand. I don't know what they were going for there. Like, I totally agree with you. It just doesn't really make sense, and it's just sort of, like, I didn't find the movie that scary in general, and I feel like there was potential in those visions in the film to be scary, to be kind of creepy. And there's some creepy moments, but overall it was just more bewildering, if anything.
The most creepiest scene was with those camel spiders.
Yeah.
I've been explaining what scene to get into, but this is creepy. This is like, I don't want to be in that room.
Oh yeah, that was great, but again, that's like the beginning of the movie, so it's kind of downhill from there, so... I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts on The Mummy? Is there anything else you didn't like or liked, or in general, what did you think of it?
I already gone off with the positives. The things I don't like the film is, I already mentioned, I don't like that it was just mixed around, and I feel like the movie should have been a lot longer, like close to 3 hours. And the reason I say it because the movie is like an hour or 50 minutes. And it's just like, how did the writers do it? How did they just pull everything together in one film? I just feel like
they don't.
More expanded, and that would just make this film more worth it. And also, the jump scares, I really don't even mind. It's just, like I said, just wanted more explanations. And there's like, what is going on and stuff like that.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I did want some more character moments and just more stuff besides exposition. I feel like so much of this movie is just like action beat and then exposition. Like, there's scenes where like Russell Crowe or some other character is giving all this exposition, but it's not the exposition that you want or need, especially to some of the other stuff, which is sort of like, well, how does that work? So I definitely agree with you there. Overall, I'd say The Mummy is a bit of a lost opportunity. What do you think?
Yeah, it was a disappointment. If I had to pick between this film and the original Mummy movie, I definitely would recommend watching the Mummy movie, because this movie is just really not worth it.
Yeah, and I'm not even the biggest fan of the original Mummy film, to be honest, but it's kind of a guilty pleasure, but it's entertaining. But I actually had more fun with that one than this movie, because I just felt this movie was just so disappointing overall. So, well, do you have any other thoughts on The Mummy before we kind of give it a ranking or a grade or anything?
So, I know there's probably a point where a person's gonna ask, like, if you had to choose between two worst films, either this film or the Power Rangers, I'd rather watch the Power Rangers film just because it is my childhood movie, and I just really enjoyed everything in the movie.
Oh, yeah. I like Power Rangers a ton more than this one, that's for sure. That one, I mean, I liked the characters, it was entertaining. Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you there. So, overall, yeah. So you wouldn't really recommend this movie, is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, it's really not worth it because it feels like the movie is mostly just a horror film, and it's almost like you're watching that World War Z movie, except this one's just more like Egyptian mummy kind of thing.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, there's a little bit of similarities there. That is definitely true. Yeah, I don't know. Really disappointing. I wanted a lot more from this movie. If you had to give it like a rating, like you know how I do like the letter rating or 1 out of 10 or whatever, what would you give this movie? What would be your personal kind of ranking of The Mummy?
For me, I would give it. I think I'm going for like a 5 out of 10.
A 5.
Because there were so many stuff in there that was wrong, and plus there needed a lot. Plus the writers needed a lot more work, more on the film, and yeah, that's all I can think of.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm pretty much gonna give it right in the middle. Like, if I had to give it a rating, I would give it like a C minus. Like, it's watchable. It's okay. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it's so disappointing. I wanted a lot more from it. Do you?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's so good. Well, that's our review of The Mummy. Overall, pretty disappointing. I agree with my buddy here. I wouldn't really recommend this movie that much. But before we go, would you like to give my viewers just a quick explanation of your channel, where you can find it? Again, I'm going to put a link to it down in the description below. But can you tell my viewers what your channel is about and what you do and stuff like that? Would you like to do that, pal?
Yep, be happy to. So basically, my channel, there are most of the time you see me like do Yu-Gi-Oh openings, like open up new product. Sometimes I open new products, and there are times you see me do deck profiles, and there are times you see me with my friends. And our basic one, or the ones that have been doing so well, is we do this live action thing, and we have like 3 episodes out of the way, and it's just really surprising how much the views has been going up. So I do recommend you check those out because a lot of fans really enjoy those ones, and they've been really liking it than our previous ones.
Yeah, it is awesome stuff. His channel's really great. Again, I'm going to put a link down in the description below. And, well, thank you so much for doing this review with me, buddy. This has been a lot of fun.
Yep, you're welcome.
Absolutely. Thank you for being on my channel. And that's it for this review of the movie, guys. Have you seen The Mummy? Let me know what you thought of it down in the comments section below. And never forget, most importantly, I'm your friend, and I'm always going to be there for you. You guys are the greatest, and I will see you next time.